Thank you. Before I begin, I have a small confession to make. Often when I'm introduced at these things, I look around hoping that somebody else will stand up and deliver this discussion for me. I feel that the individual that's introduced is somebody that doesn't actually represent me, because you see in my mind's eye, I'm still a 10-year-old boy. So the individual that just was described as an adult. So please bear with me as I try to reconcile the boy that I think that I am and the adult that I'm required to be. I chose this title because I was told to deliver a discussion on Archangel and above security in as entertaining and as quick a fashion as I could. My original title was Archangel, Why is Archangel Better Than Your Mother's Meatloaf? That didn't sell too well. So I went with a holistic approach to security. The reason I chose this title is because I did want to talk about Archangel, and I did want to talk about the work that we're doing. But I didn't want this to be a discussion of features. I didn't want this to be a presentation on a feature list. That discussion can take place at any time. Please feel free to have that discussion with anybody at Above Security at any time. We're more than happy to have that discussion with you. But I wanted to give to you today the impetus for creating Archangel, the impetus for what we do and why we do the things that we do at Above. The best place to begin is always at the beginning. And in this case, I thought I would kind of set the record straight, at least as far as I see it, about what Above Security is. Above Security is an IT security provider with expertise firmly planted in risk management. That says a lot, and it says nothing. What we are is a security company, plain and simple. Warren spoke about this earlier, and he said that security needs to be in your DNA, and it's in Above Security's DNA. This is what we do. If you don't believe me, you can speak to Andrew, and you can ask him about his first week at Above Security, in which our security operations manager, Claude, took him aside and explained to him all the things he did wrong on that first day. We take security very seriously. We take this responsibility very seriously. I ask that you not confuse the levity by which I present these ideas with this commitment that we have to our customers and their security. We are 24/7. We do that all the time. We always have people thinking about this problem and working on this problem. This is what we do. It's the reason we get up in the morning, and it's the reason we spend some nights awake worrying about it, often. This is what we do. This little quote here is mine. There is some debate internally about using this quote, but since I'm the one up here and I have to speak, I get to do what I want. And so this is it here. It said, we leverage the continuous improvement of our technology and response process to better protect the most critical and sensitive information assets in our customers' infrastructures. So essentially, that's what we're getting at. That's what we do. We spend our time thinking about security and how we can better use technology and process in order to deliver a secure environment to our customers. The reason I'm saying this is because essentially this is the reason that we create Archangel. And I'll get into the details of that in a minute, but I want you to keep that in your head as we go through this. Okay. So, can anybody tell me what these companies have in common? They've all been hacked. Every one of these companies. And we're not talking small players here. We're talking total market cap of $1.4 trillion. This is literally not a small government, but a fairly decent-sized country we're talking about. And they've all been hacked. Does anybody here have any doubt that these companies had the best technology, that they were fully compliant, that they did all the things that are supposed to be done to be secure and compliant, and yet we're still hacked. Why is that? What's the issue? What are we missing? The vast majority of technology today, or the reason a lot of these problems in security are solved simply by the use of technology, which in itself is not really a problem or the issue, because this is a technology problem that requires technology to be used. But the problem is that much of these new technologies are simply attempting to address specific attack methodologies and specific problems. So you have a technology for IDS, you have a technology for access control, you have a technology, you have a SIM, you have so on and so forth. The problem is that all of these things are looking at one particular aspect of your security and not looking at the whole picture. And so despite the fact that we add more and more of these technologies, despite the fact that we're spending more and more money on security, the number of attacks increases daily. So what do we do? Or why is that? Well, we believe that we have an answer, and we believe that security, in fact, requires two things. It does require that technology. Like I said, this is an IT problem. It's a problem for which technology must be used in order to enable a solution. However, there is a second element, and that was, it was echoed by Hans and it was echoed by Warren as well. The continuous vigilance required to ensure that security standards are maintained is a human endeavor. It's a human problem to continue to work this problem, to continue to solve this problem. The continuous monitoring, the 24/7 monitoring, the patching of vulnerabilities, the responsive incident management. In 2010, Microsoft came out with their report, their annual security report, in which they said that over 90% of all successful attacks are due to known vulnerabilities not being patched. Simply. Stuff that's known. You knew the answer, you knew what to do, and it wasn't done. Over 90%. So we spent a lot of time talking about advanced persistent threat, zero-day attacks, when in fact, it's the stuff that we can do on a daily basis that we know about that's killing us. So why aren't more people doing this? Or why is this problem not being discussed? Because continuous vigilance is difficult. It's not an easy problem to solve. It requires, as Warren said, a costly infrastructure. 24/7 monitoring means that there has to be a human at the end of that computer screen looking to see that whether something is happening or not. And most companies don't have the resources to do that. So this is what Above Security has done. We've built the infrastructure to help you achieve that 24/7 monitoring, that operational discipline. That's what we concentrate and focus on. So how have we done this? Well, the first thing that we've said is sort of as a policy is that we're going to be technology agnostic. That means that we do not sell anybody else's equipment. We will work with you to help you pick the equipment that is best for your needs. And if that means using legacy systems, then that's fine as well. The idea is that we don't want to be tied to any one thing that will in any way impede improving your security posture. So that's fundamental to the way we work, and it's necessary in order for us to deliver the service that we do. Above Security sought and achieved ISO 9001 certification. We did this because we wanted to clearly demonstrate to all of you, and to make it as transparent as possible, what our processes are, what our commitment to the service is. And by the way, our quality policy is a public document. You need only ask for it, and any one of Above Security's employees can provide that to you. So I welcome that you take a look at it and you see what our commitment to our clients is. Finally, we allow, and basically this is putting our money where our mouths is, we allow any one of our clients to simply request an audit of our operations, and they are then granted the ability to do so. So you can come to Above Security at any time, simply let us know when you want it to be. It can be in January, or it can be in July. I recommend July. Montreal is cold in January. But anytime you wish to do that, it can be on a Saturday, it can be on a weekday, it can be at night. We will more than welcome the ability to demonstrate to you that we in fact do what we say we do. So that brings us to Archangel and why we built Archangel the way we did. We built Archangel to be the means by which that discipline is enforced. Archangel is a tool by which we deliver the service that we promise. And that tool is basically a distributed management platform that takes as much information coming from these devices and then correlates that information into some sort of coherent action that our analysts and our clients can take in terms of their security posture. That Archangel is not an IDS, it's not a DLP, it's not any of those things. The use of Archangel does not eliminate the need to have those devices in your network. What Archangel does simply is it takes the information from all of those devices, whatever is required in your network, and it brings it together in such a fashion that both the client and the analyst at Above Security can come to decisions about what's happening in terms of your network in as quick and as decisive a manner as possible. So, back to this point, what can Archangel do? It does have SIM-type qualities. It can correlate, it can collect, aggregate, and correlate log events so that you can actually achieve all your compliance requirements through Archangel. All Archangel sensors are equipped with an IDS and an IPS, so they can be used in such a fashion. The service also offers is complete escalation, the complete escalation process, so that the incident is actually managed instead of just some alert sitting somewhere on some network and that nobody ever actually addresses. It can be used as a patch management tool because there is a vulnerability scanner on there, and so that we do know what vulnerabilities are present on your network, and we can discuss how to best patch those vulnerabilities. And then it's unique in the sense that there is an asset management or an asset detection tool on the Archangel sensor that gathers all the information about your assets and brings it together in such a way with the correlation engine so that we can actually make sure that those assets that you've defined to be the most critical in your network are the ones that we're actually monitoring, so that we actually understand that what is happening at those times of attacks, and to make sure that an attack is correctly flagged as such or is critical because it's actually affecting one of those assets. What does Archangel do for you? Well, I kind of just described that. Basically, it shortens the time between alert and incident response so that we get to the solution faster. We don't want an incident to be sitting there for 24 hours. We want to deal with it as quickly as possible. So that engagement happens with the client. We discuss what escalation, what you want to have escalated, what you prefer to have escalated, what you prefer to see in the monthly reports. But the time from alert to escalation is as short a timeline as possible. And that can only be achieved by 24/7 monitoring, by the way. You can't have that kind of short time without somebody sitting there watching and making sure that things are happening the way they need to be. Like I said earlier, there's an intelligence layer that combines both the asset detection engine and the correlation engine to make sure that the assets that you define to be the most critical are the ones we're actually watching, so that the elements of your network that are the most important to you are the ones that are going to be defined in the escalation grid as the ones that are responded to in the quickest and most timely manner. The Archangel actually, one of the things it does, and this is some work that we did in conjunction with a university in Canada, is it creates a security network asset model that then provides higher level metrics for you to determine what your risk and your risk posture is. And so the benchmark by which we determine whether you're in a risky situation or not can be applied and be measured and controlled and judged and so managed. Because we're technology agnostic and because we have developed our own log collector and log aggregation tool, we can plug any device to it. Now, does that mean that we have that functionality this minute so that if you were to name a device that we could automatically do it? No, we don't. We only develop that functionality for the devices as we need them. But it's something that we can easily do. We have a standard methodology of doing so. And so to do that is not a big issue. For instance, we had recently in Canada, we had a client ask for an anti-DDoS service. And specifically they wanted to work with Radware's Defense Pro. And so we essentially sat with them and we sat with Radware and we worked out a service by which we would then use that information to do incident response for them in their anti-DDoS service. And it's now a service that we provide essentially to all our clients if they so require. Finally, it provides a safe and secure way to communicate about incidents through the console itself. So all communication with Above Security about your security happens through the console. It's a secure channel and it's private. It's a virtual private network that only the analyst and the client see. Okay. So when is Archangel going to be ready? Stéphane, you stand up. Stand up. Yeah. I'm not being facetious here, and I'm not being trite. So Archangel began, I guess what, 3 years ago, Stéphane? 3 years ago, it began as a sort of mini project that Stéphane and another gentleman, Michel-Ange, who's back in Montreal, were working on their thesis on. And we took that thesis and we expanded on it and we grew it. And it's at the stage now where we have built the infrastructure for it. The deployment of it is going to begin in the next week or so. So we're going to be doing the final testing for stability. And then the deployment of each client will begin. And the reason I don't give an exact date is because, in fact, one of the issues with Archangel and with the new technology is that we're going to have to sit with each one of you individually and determine when the best time to deploy from the current version of the console to Archangel 5.0 is, because for existing clients, some of the sensors that are in your networks will not be able to support 5.0. And so we need to sit down and we need to review how we're going to, in fact, deploy that, and it'll be part of the strategy. So expect that phone call or that email will come in the coming weeks, and we'll begin that discussion about how to then transfer everybody over to 5.0. I say ask Stéphane, and I mean this sincerely. We're all supposed to, one of the important things, and Ray spoke about this earlier, is that we want to be a family, and that we treat each other equally. So I ask that, of course you can ask me the questions, but don't just take my word for it. Ask Stéphane, ask Patrick. Get the information you require from us. It's not a problem. That's what we're there for. We have people 24/7 willing and able to answer all of your questions. So the ask Stéphane, while initially seeming trite, is not attempting to be so at all. What I want and what I would like is for you to actually ask those questions of all of us. So that's it for today. I tried to keep it as short as possible. I think I did it in the time allotted to me. I want to thank all of you. Is Jessica here? Yeah. I also want to thank Jessica because I gave her a dog's supper, in that I delivered my presentation to her last night. It was 11:30, so she worked through, I think, much of the night to actually translate it in Spanish. So thank you, Jessica. And thank you to all of you, and thank you to all our partners as well.